Robertson of Duck Dynasty died. He had a long battle with Alzheimer's, and he died over the weekend. And we know one thing about him, if you've ever seen him speak, which I've seen a couple of times. I've seen him speak, and there was a lot of social media going around about him. His deep, abiding faith in Jesus Christ. He knew exactly where he was headed. He is home now after a long battle with Alzheimer's. Cool guy. I only met him once. I put a photo up. This was he inspired me to grow facial hair. I met him pre-facial hair in 2016. I was in Cleveland at the RNC convention and bumped into him totally accidentally, actually in a parking garage, believe it or not. I was walking to my car, and he was getting out of his, and I said, "Hey, Phil." And so we talked for a minute. My dad absolutely loved that show, loved Duck Dynasty. I didn't know a lot about it, but I started kind of watching it because my dad was interested in it. I said, "Okay, what's all this about?" So I got to know him a little bit through the TV series and then listening to him speak. But what fascinated me most about this Duck Dynasty thing was that they built this empire, this very famous business, and then it became a reality television show. And this is a point in your career and in your life where you've become famous and you've become, I suppose, reasonably wealthy. And you can choose to do one of two things. You can try your best to stay completely out of politics and the news, or you can decide to take your newfound fame and prestige and do something with it. And in this family's case, in the Robertsons' case, they decided first and foremost to advance the kingdom of Christ with that. And I thought that was remarkable. I admired it so much because this was, 2016, if you think back now, and I have to be honest with you, 2016, I was fresh off of a Ted Cruz, Donald Trump fight. I mean, I was an endorser and hearty backer of Ted Cruz straight through the Pennsylvania primary, and it was contentious. And if you recall that convention, there was great consternation about Ted Cruz even coming out and endorsing Trump after he had lost a pretty bruising long-term primary. I was not convinced in the summer of 2016 that Donald Trump could beat Hillary Clinton. I wasn't. I'm not going to do revisionist history with you. That's the truth. I was not enthusiastic about Trump. I was not enthusiastic about his chances once he secured the nomination. And by the time the Billy Bush tape hit that year, Fast Eddie, when the Billy Bush tape, grab him by the remember that? I said, we're done. That was the October that I declared to my wife. I'll never forget as long as I live. I was in a hotel room in October at a function. I was upstairs getting dressed, putting on the black tie, getting ready for the big night downstairs in the hotel ballroom. And I flipped on the news when I was getting ready, and it said the Billy Bush tape, grab him by the honk. And I said to Christine that night, I'll never forget it. I go, well, it's over. It's over. Trump's lost. She's going to be the next president of the United States. And I was just crestfallen that evening. And the reason I'm bringing all this up is not to relitigate it, but to remind you that I was not alone, and I know I wasn't. And a lot of people would like to revise history and tell you, oh, I knew all along. I was always with Trump. No, you weren't. I mean, some of you were, but most of you weren't. Most people were like me. We didn't know what we didn't know. Trump ended up becoming a unbelievable surprise. And, of course, by the time they tried to assassinate him and raid his home, there was no bigger a ride-or-die advocate for Donald Trump than me. But it took me some time to get there. And the reason I'm telling you all this is, while I was going through all that in 2016, guys like Phil, they were ride or die with Trump from the beginning. They saw something in him right away that they liked, and they threw their weight behind him. They went to Cleveland to endorse him, to back him. They traveled around the country to back him and endorse him well before it became cool. And I admired that. So these guys not only had political acumen, but most importantly, they were out there advancing the Word of God, advancing the kingdom of Jesus. And I just couldn't respect and admire. I didn't know him personally, but having run into him that once, he was charming and friendly and affable, willing to take the photo, and you can go see it. Like I said, he inspired my facial hair growth. So rest in peace, Phil. We know he's in a better place. We know he's home where he has preached for many, many years he wanted to be.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.
It's Chris Stigall, and you're watching the Answer Now TV.